were fireworks.
Yeah.
Just a few minutes ago in the closing arguments in the A$AP Rocky trial. I mean, let me put it this way. The lawyer for A$AP, Joe Tacopina, takes his coat off. He is so hot.
He is heated, and this all started during Joe Tacopina's closing argument. What we've gathered at this point is that he made some reference to A$AP Relly, who is the alleged victim here, the guy that Rocky is accused of shooting a gun at.
And the prosecutor's star witness.
Right.
Who had problems on the stand.
And Joe openly said during his closing argument that Relly had committed perjury and that the prosecution accepted that.
And the prosecutor objected vehemently, and the judge said, nope, Tacopina is allowed to say that. Well, that was yesterday. Today, it came up again.
Yeah, and now this is what the explosion that happens in court as both Joe Tacopina and the prosecutor are yelling at each other. The judge is in the middle of it. It is chaos.
That's unethical. And this is a guy who, of the Ninth Circuit, just said lie to a jury in the Branford case.
Your Honor,
so
Your
I
Honor,
want to hear
Your Honor.
about him.
One more thing out of him, and we air everything that's happened in this case, which the court's aware of.
Stop.
He might want to stop.
I'm so glad.
You should be, Joe.
Oh,
Let's take a break. You should be.
So
they take a break.
They took a break. And I believe this was outside the presence of the jury.
Right.
But man, this is how heated this thing got. And Tacopina had made reference to something that happened in the Robert Durst trial, which that prosecutor was prosecuting Robert Durst and said that he had lied, the prosecutor had lied during that trial.
Right.
And it just set the prosecutor off.
Right.
Set him off. Look at that. That is crazy.
So the thing that nothing will tee off a attorney more than being called for character violations or courtroom decorum violations or codes of conduct violations by another attorney. It's very rarely done, right? There's always this thing that you'll fight hard for your clients, but don't make it personal with the other lawyer. Here, these two guys clearly don't like each other, and that came out, and man alive, you just don't see that very often. The screaming, the back and forth, the judge standing up at the bench.
Hey, look at the judge is like, I don't know what. The judge is shaking his head like, wow, I don't know.
This judge has been around for a long time. Very, very experienced judge. I wonder how many times he's seen this kind of vitriol in court.
Well, I mean, the fact that the judge is standing.
Right.
You know, I mean,
judge is standing.
You just don't see
I'm waiting for someone to yell, "You're out of order! You're out of order! This whole courtroom's out of order!"
I mean, okay, so it looks like this case is going to the jury it could go as early as Monday. By the way, excuse me.
Could go as
Monday
early
is dark. It'll go Tuesday.
Right.
We may have Joe Tacopina on TMZ Live on Monday. So we're going to get into this for sure.
Yes.
It's Brittany in Erie, Pennsylvania. And this case at this point is he said, she said, because honestly, they're childhood friends. They went to high school together in New York. They used to be in a rap group together. How did it come to this? We don't know what actually happened that night, but I do feel for Rihanna and their kids because he's facing up to 24 years, and that's a long time for him to be away from his kids.
And by the way, Rihanna and her kids were in court for closing, so we will see what kind of an impact that has on the judge. But again, Tacopina is going to be here on Monday, so
we
this
get
should
some
be
answers about the clearly bad blood between himself and the prosecutor.
Clearly. Okay, we're going to move on.
Yes, to Kanye West and Bianca Censori and what appears to be the end of their marriage, or at least we know that they are inquiring about ending their marriage. Whether anyone is ready to actually pull the trigger on a divorce yet, we don't know.
But usually when two people each go to a divorce lawyer, it's a sign that they want to get divorced.
Yeah, it's not a good sign for the marriage. Things are rocky to say the least. So, but we know
we've gotten some additional details. So yesterday we put in the website that both of them had gone to see a lawyer. We have more detail. Both of them had their reps going to lawyers this week, and that wasn't the first time. Back in October,
and
Kanye's rep went to another lawyer,
a different lawyer than from this week,
right? And was hot, was angry, on the phone over the
And
relationship.
you'll remember, we actually had broken a story back in October that their marriage was on the rocks. This was when Kanye was actually in Tokyo, and for, I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks, we'd seen him out and about, but Bianca was not there, and what we were told is that their marriage was on the rocks. And now we know that he did contact this attorney back then, and
Who, by the way, wouldn't take the case.
did not take the case.
No,
and
wouldn't take the case. Said,
Right.
Nope.
Yeah,
Not for me.
If you're an attorney and Kanye calls you, you know that, I mean, when he got divorced from Kim,
5 lawyers. I think maybe 6.
that before he finally stuck with one and went through with the divorce. So the other big thing we found out, no prenup, which is a very interesting thing for Kanye, considering what his finances have been like over the last few years, since Adidas pulled out, since he blew, $60 million on that the Malibu home.
It just
that
lost
was
a
never
fortune.
developed.
We're told he's lost money during this marriage. So it's weird the way community property works, but you do split the assets 50-50, but you also split debts incurred during the marriage 50-50.
Which is going to be problematic for someone to sort out, right? Because Kanye definitely has had losses, right? We know Adidas pulling out was a huge loss for him. But he's also put out, I think, 2 albums during the time there, maybe even 3.
Two albums, and he also bought that house. I think it's in Beverly Hills somewhere. I believe he spent around
That one they
$30
just
million.
bought, yeah.
It was weird. It was like kind of an old house that they were clearly, he was at least gonna completely restore. I think he wanted to make some type of compound there. But I mean, he clearly does still have money, does he? Right?
No, he has money. The issue is during the marriage, if they lost money that was part of the community, she's responsible for half. So if the net is that they lost money during the marriage, at least in theory, according to California law, not only would she not get money, she'd be responsible for her share of the debt, which is.
Okay, that would be.
But wait,
that's the law. That's
but
the law.
what if she doesn't have the money then?
Well, then you put her on a
Make
payment
payments. You
plan.
make
Yeah,
payments.
But I don't know that Kanye would do that, and I'm sure this thing's going to settle and not go to court. I'm just telling you the way the law works is debts incurred during the marriage with marital money or marital assets, they become 50-50, and and he's lost money during the time they were married.
Let's just hope she gets to leave with more than the shirt on her back, because she rarely wears.
She rarely wears the shirt on her back.
Right.
Now, again, we don't. As far as we know, nothing's been filed. We haven't seen anything. And look, people sometimes run to a divorce lawyer and then they never pull the trigger and do it. And we've seen that.
Yes.
And sometimes they file and then they withdraw the petition.
As we said, Kanye was inquiring back in October and nothing came of it.
That's right.
But they are inquiring
Well, also because he
again.
couldn't find a lawyer to do it. I mean, there is that.
Jenica McMurray, La Habra, California. I almost didn't believe it at first, but I think she might end up with the better end of the bargain with them going to the divorce attorneys now. Like, it's getting serious.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, he'll be responsible for paying her lawyer's fees, I'm sure.
Yes.
But again, we're not at that point down the road. They have not yet filed.
Not yet.
We're taking a break.
All right, when we come back, Drake has dropped another album. And if you're a Kendrick or a Kendrick fan, you got to be wondering, is he going to keep the beef going? This is supposed to be a love album, love songs with himself and Party Next Door, but there were some shots at Kendrick. We are going to break it down when we come back.